Hey sisters, what's up? How's it going? I just wanted to go over my Queen's round two, and this is really important information for us to consider in our everyday lives, in our relationships, how we conduct ourselves within our communities, within our societies, etc. I think it's something that's really needed because a lot of us are starting to get a little bit confused here during this time in history. It is quite confusing when you don't have all the information and when you don't know what you're looking at. For example, you could be operating and living your life in a gray area. You're in between, you don't know, you're confused, lost, selling yourself short, stuff like this. I can tell you, once you have become empowered, you can then decipher between the good and the evil, and decipher between the light and the dark in everyday life. And that includes for people, that includes for media, news, information, technology, education, the list goes on. So I have 5 more points for us to consider when we're talking about queens, how to act, how queens act, and what to expect from a queen in a relationship. If you're a king or you're a prince, you're learning the ropes. It's important to be able to identify who's a queen, who's a little princess, who's a diva, and all these different levels that we have going on. So let me get serious now. So this is an extension of Queens Part 1, and my next main point for my queens out there is that queens run kingdoms, meaning they're going to be open, they're going to be thankful, they're going to be nice, they're going to be respectful. They are very serious. They don't have time to hate on people. They don't have time for gossip. There's no negativity going on. This is why female to female with a queen can become possibly problematic, because if a queen is not a queen and she sees a queen, she could be jealous of that person, or they could think, oh, that person has everything. They are, how could they be struggling if they have everything? They have a job, they have all these material objects, they have a husband, they have a family, the list goes on with our earthly things. And so this is the thing about queens, though. They are in charge of many different aspects of everyday life, and they don't have time to dwell in the negative realms of jealousy and deprivation. They thrive and they survive, and they are thriving no matter what is set in front of them, no matter what boundary comes in their way. They are nonetheless thriving through it and growing. So I learn something new every single day, and I think that that's really important, and I think that it's important for us to remember who we are and where we came from. So you're not going to really see a lot of negativity from a queen. She'll be rather reserved, but also open to communicate and to share and to educate when the time is appropriate, and when she's asked to, or when she feels that there's a need to do so. So the next point is, and this is so important for my ladies out there, I mean, I can't stress it enough. We're up against an inverted society. We're up against a lot of confusion here. And queens don't chase kings. Women, real women, don't chase men. And if you did, it's okay. If you got confused, that's okay. If you were, played, and that's fine. It happens to the best of us. I mean, I'm so embarrassed about some of the people that I've even talked to, let alone allowed them to take up space and time and energy in my life, So don't feel bad about it. Just realize that real women do not chase men. It's actually quite the opposite, and we see this in nature. During like mating seasons for birds, just as a small example, the male bird will have a lot of bright colors compared to female birds. The male bird has a lot of shades of neon and beautiful elaborate patterns when they open their wingspan in the back. Just amazing spreads of color and flashing patterns. And he does a dance for her to try and get her attention. And this is what we see happen in modern day life with humans. We see the men, real men, will be they'll become flashy, and they'll become covered in material luxurious items to try and attract a worthy female. But the thing about it is, kings and queens, respectfully, they're not really the flashy type. So that's why people say all that glitters is not gold, because there could be a lot of deceiving men out there, and deceiving women too. There's many ways to be fake and to use all of the modern tools to do so, including luxury items, plastic surgeries, makeup. I mean, I could make myself look like a completely different person just with changing my color scheme, changing different colors within my face and stuff like that. So you need to be aware of fake, sort of like really flashy type men, because more than likely they're not genuine kings. They're just like confused little boys. Usually they're very childish, and usually they're extremely immature and not even looking for anything real. So I would just beware that the woman is the one in nature who makes the decision. The man does the flashing, dancing around to try and catch her attention. The king also needs to put in quite a bit of effort to be able to find a queen. So queens don't really mix and mingle with a lot of people. And so it becomes a search for the king to find his queen, and that's a real adventure. That's a real search. And nowadays, the plague and the problems that we're up against are that some men who are confused, they think that they're the prize. They think that they're the ones that need to be catered to, and that the woman is supposed to find them. The woman is supposed to pay for them. the woman is supposed to cater to them, when in reality, in real kingdom life, it's the opposite. The woman is the one that is technically supposed to be taken care of. Now, that doesn't mean she just sits back and doesn't do anything. That's the difference between queens and princesses. So we have a couple different things going on, but if you know that you're a king, you need to understand and get the message through your head that that your queen is not going to be coming up to you. She's not going to be hitting on you. She's not going to be looking for you online. Don't even get me started on the online dating thing, guys. I mean, that's obviously bait. It's obviously the enemy. And it's obviously dirty. So what did you guys expect? I mean, I had to learn the hard way. It's not going to work out for people who are wholesome, holistic, religious, balanced. No, that's not going to be your place. God is not going to send you your husband through an online dating app where he doesn't have to do any work to get to you. Okay, next point. Queens stay focused. That's what I mean by the difference between queens and little girls, or queens and princesses. Queens actually take charge and have careers. They have jobs. More than likely, they run different things. For either they own their own business, they're the manager at the place, they train the people on the job, they take responsibility, they own it, they're proud of it, they're happy about it, and they're ready and willing to put in the work. This means that you can't really knock a queen off her game. She's fine with or without a king. She's good emotionally and financially with or without her king. I mean, that's the whole point of living through your season of being single and owning your singleness and thriving being single, because you need to learn how to live on your own, and you need to learn how to thrive in your own space, on all levels, before you can really commit yourself to someone on a kingdom level. The next point, we have 2 more points and then I'm done. So, queens don't cater to kings. They cater to the kingdom. So the whole point of a king putting in all the work to not only build his throne up, but also to find her, to find his queen, he's also finding someone. And the reason why it's so important is because he needs to find someone who's strong enough to take care of the kingdom when he leaves. So when he has business elsewhere, when he has to go to a different country, when he has meetings, when he has work to tend to, seasonal work. I know some people who live in the Amazon rainforest, and the men leave for a couple months out of the year to go work, and then they come back. So the woman, the queen, needs to be strong enough, smart enough, brave enough, everything on top of her game to the max, focus to the max, to hold down the fort and take care of everything and make everything run smoothly while he's gone. Okay? So that's why you can't knock her off her game. She's good with or without him. She's good to take care of everything with or without the extra help. Of course, the help is very nice, and it's amazing when 2 people can come together and have that type of bond. I don't have it yet, so I'm still working on learning everything I need to learn, so to make sure that I'm prepared. So the last final point is really interesting, and I just learned about it recently, and it's helped me a lot. My last point for today is that queens don't have friends. And if they do, it's extremely small. Their circle is extremely small, if it exists at all, because God typically needs to isolate people who are going to be running a kingdom. So there's a season of singleness, there's a season of isolation. I've gone to different countries by myself. I have been living by myself for a while now and working by myself, stuff like that. So you will be isolated in order to grow, in order for him to work on you, to make your final stages of development. So in this time frame, you could be your only circle. You're the motivator. You're the bank account. You are the grocery store, nutritional, everything. You are responsible for your physical fitness. You are responsible for your health and wellness and beauty upkeeps. You're responsible for taking care of everything, as if you were running a kingdom. And that could very well mean that you won't have a lot of friends. I have literally like 2 friends, and we don't hang out. We don't see each other. I work 6 days a week. And that's not the reason why I don't see my friends. It's that we're all kind of like queens. We're like kind of like doing our own thing. Like one of my best friends, I have 2 best friends. One of them lives in New York City and is back and forth from NYC to Africa. So like she's gone half the time anyways, working in the field. And I'm in Philly, working in the field, but based in Philly. And then my other best friend lives in Australia. So we don't see each other. She'll be here this year for like a couple months, so that's very exciting. But it's not like an everyday codependent, we have to be around each other. No, none of that. It's, sending packages to each other, sending love nonetheless. Maybe it's via package, messages, emails, phone calls, FaceTime, stuff like that. So you could very well be in a season of isolation and singleness, and I just want you to know that that is for a reason, and that it's ultimately going to make you better, and it's going to make you more prepared to handle the affairs of the kingdom, because you'll already be warmed up to it. You'll already be warmed up to the fact that you're strong enough, hands down, to handle the running of the kingdom alone or paired with someone. So it's really good news to know that we don't have to lower our standards for people. And that's why I wanted to get this out to you guys, because a lot of you guys are lowering your standards, having kids before marriage, giving up your money for a man who's not ready to give up anything for you, giving up your body for a man who is clearly not worth it, and you can't even see it because you're so wrapped up in needing someone else to validate yourself. And I just want you guys to know that a queen is never going to need validation from anyone. Not the president, not the head of this state, not this professional doctor, not this person on the street. No, it's not like that. It's more so a new level of the kingdom mentality and remaining loyal to that. And this took me about, my whole life to figure out. And it can be confusing when we're talking about all of these modern struggles that we have when it comes to people, the agenda rather, breaking up the family structure, taking the father out of the picture, making it normal for the father to not be in the picture. That's the exact opposite of how a kingdom can run. He can leave for moments of time for business and for political reasons and whatever, but he is firmly there because that's his joy and that's his foundation. And that's his life, like literal genes being passed down, and legacies being passed down. So a true king takes real responsibility. And so now we have a situation where we have queens growing up struggling because their fathers denounced their crown. Their father denounced their own crown as king. So it makes it that much more difficult for queens to find and put their crown on. So essentially, it's a process. So I want you guys to stay focused on yourself and your kingdom. And that's whether you have a kingdom yet or not. So I hope that this helps for everyone. And please email me if you have any questions. And I'm going to end up doing another session on this because we really need it right now, and people are selling themselves short, and they are signing themselves up to be disappointed and to be left with a crumbling, devastated kingdom, and that is not what we want. That is not your destiny. It's not your destiny to cater to a man, and it's not your destiny to submit to someone who will not submit to you, and they won't even answer your questions, and they won't even take responsibility for their own kids. And I mean, it's just a total mess. So you need to get yourself out of that mess and liberate yourself and remind yourself who you are. And remind yourself that you're a queen and you run a kingdom and you're really powerful and you are full of life and you are responsible for life on this planet. So take it easy, y'all, and I hope you have a great day. Love you all. Bye.